What's up guys? In this video we are talking the eternal battle between Le Creuset and Staub enameled cast iron Dutch ovens, and we're going to answer the question, do the basting spikes on the underside of a Staub enameled cast iron Dutch oven lid actually work? Do they do anything? And if they do, does a Staub do a better job at basting than a comparably sized Le Creuset? Now, Le Creuset lids are a little more dome-shaped than the Staubs, and they have a smooth underside. The Staubs have a flatter lid with a lip or a rim around the lid. The manual for Staub says that you can put ice cubes on this lid to enhance basting performance. We may check that here in a few minutes. But underneath, the lid has these spikes. And the theory is that when moisture evaporates off of food, it will condense on the underside of the lid. And these spikes help produce almost a little rain effect and do a good job at evenly basting food. Now I wanted to test this out, so here's what I did. Now these are big 9-quart Dutch ovens, pretty wide. The way I came up with to test out the condensation and basting performance is to get some water in there, and then I'm gonna put this wide bowl in there, and we'll get the lid on. And once the water started to boil, I turned it down to low, set a timer for 20 minutes, and see how much condenses and drips down into this bowl. Now let's look at the Le Creuset first. Now after 20 minutes, I'm going to carefully remove that lid and bring it off the pan. I don't want to jostle it and knock any moisture down into the bowl. Quite a bit of condensation on the underside of the Le Creuset lid here, but down in the bowl, only 2 drops of moisture, practically nothing. Let's check the Staub. Same test, after 20 minutes, going to remove the lid. Again, a lot of condensation on the underside of the lid. And down in that bowl, this is actually very nice here. There are drops of water, multiple drops of water spread all around that bowl. Just a couple of drops on the Le Creuset, multiple drops all around with the Staub. So those basting spikes do work. Now we're not done yet. What about what the manual said about adding ice cubes to the top of a Dutch oven to enhance condensation and basting performance? Does that work? Same test here, and in here I'm going to add about 3 cups of ice cubes to the top of the Staub. And I note that it took about 8 minutes for all those ice cubes to melt. Now when I got close to the 20-minute time limit, I note there is still a ton of water on top of this Dutch oven. So you would definitely not want to do this on for something like a soup, something on a stovetop where you're going to need to remove the lid and stir something very often. But perhaps for an oven cook, multiple hours, adding ice cubes might be the way to go there. Got the lid off. And look at this, it's actually significant. Look at the amount of water in that bowl. There's actually enough in there to slosh around. I poured this up, and there is an entire tablespoon of water that has dripped down, condensed and dripped down into that bowl after only 20 minutes. So I'm going to say that the basting spikes on the Staubs absolutely work. I think the lid, when it comes to basting performance, works better than the Le Creuset. And the manual was not kidding around when they said that adding ice cubes to the lid of the Staub would enhance basting and condensation performance. So I think Staub definitely has the advantage here. Am I ready to proclaim Staub better than Le Creuset? Not yet. There is more to it than that. This is but one skirmish in the overall battle between Le Creuset versus Staub. If you would like to see more head-to-head comparisons between these two brands and more information, make sure you click on the video link below. Make sure you are subscribed to the old channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Uncle Scott's Kitchen.